So folks, in the previous videos I looked at dimensional analysis with you, and that should give you a sense as to where these formulas are coming from. And I do think that it's important that this not seem like just some mystical conversion formula that you do, and instead go back to the examples in dimensional analysis that we looked at before. But I'm not going to specifically test you on dimensional analysis, but you still need to be able to convert between radians and degrees whenever you need to. So to convert a degree measure to a radian measure, we're going to go ahead and multiply by the factor pi over 180 degrees. This is how the book presents it. It's a fine way to present it, but I think then you start to lose track of the dimensional analysis that's happening if I just tell you to go from degrees to radians multiplied by this factor. But this is a good place to kind of summarize what we saw on the previous page, so we'll do so. Similarly, to convert between a radian measure to degree measure, we're going to multiply by the factor 180 degrees divided by pi. Now, I think that it's important to keep in mind what we've learned from dimensional analysis as we do this, because it's very easy, if you just think of memorizing these two formulas, to use the wrong one in the wrong instance. So instead, what I want to do is we're going to convert to the other unit of measurement. We actually did this, something similar to this once before, but we'll take 45 degrees and say that it's 45 degrees over 1 times what's my conversion factor? Well, in the skill here, we're told to convert from degree to radian. We multiply by the factor pi divided by 180 degrees. And if we go ahead and do this, this comes out to be pi divided by 4. And so that would be pi divided by 4 radians. Continuing, we're going to go ahead and convert 5 pi over 7 into degrees. Now, this is the first example that I've given you where I don't think you could just use your knowledge of the unit circle to do the conversion. You're going to have to use this conversion factor. So I'm going to set up 5 pi over 7 divided by 1, if you like, or you could just call it 5 pi divided by 7, and we're going to multiply this by the factor 180 degrees divided by pi. And so if I set that up, I'm going to show you how I'll be entering that into the calculator. We'll do 5 times 180 times pi in the numerator, and in the denominator I'll have 7 times pi. You could go ahead and factor out those common factors of pi, and now we're ready to just go ahead and compute this. Folks, there are a lot of ways to talk about multiplying fractions together, so if you have a way that's working for you, that's fine, but this is what I'll be entering into the calculator. I did drop the degree symbol there, so let me put it up there. So let's go ahead, I'll put that into the calculator and see what we get. And so if I do that computation in a calculator, that comes out to be 128. And I can tell you where to round this, folks, on exams and such. I'll be more precise. But I'll go ahead and round this to the nearest tenth. So this gives me 128.6 degrees is equivalent to 5 pi over 7. So I'm going to leave you to try 2 of these computations on your own. I'd like you to try C and D on your own. We'll pause the video for you to do so, and then also answer number 8. Take a look at number 8 after that. So pause the video. I want you to do C, D, and number 8 on your own. Pause the video and do so. Okay, folks, so now that you've done C, D, and number 8, I'd like to do one last question with you, and that is we started this whole discussion off by reminding ourselves exactly what 1 radian was. And remember that 1 radian is an angle whose arc length matches the radius of the given circle. And so this, what I've just drawn here, that approximately this arc length right here that I'm sketching along the circle matches the radius of the circle. That's to the best of my ability to draw it. Anyway, so this theta right here is equal to 1 radian. And so the question is how many degrees are 1 radian? And I'd like you to first make a guess. Let's just guess at this. How many degrees in 1 radian? So pause the video and please make a guess for how many degrees you think should be in 1 radian. So I think a really good guess should be somewhere around 60 degrees. Maybe 60 degrees seems like kind of a decent guess for this. Well, let's actually go do the computation. So we are being asked to compute 1 radian convert 1 radian in radian measure into degree measure. So we'd say that's 1 radian divided by 1, and then we're going to multiply by our conversion factor, and we would have our 180 degrees divided by pi radians. Usually I don't write these radians, but because of this number 1, that could cause some confusion. So I went ahead and wrote that. You can see that the dimensionless units of radians cancel, however you want to think about that. But if I set up this multiplication, we're going to take 180 divided by pi, and that will give us the degrees of our answer. So let me go ahead and do that. So from the calculator, I found that that was approximately 57, if we round to the nearest tenth, 57.3 degrees. So we're saying that 1 radian here is roughly equivalent to 57.3 degrees. That matched with what we expected from this picture, but there we actually have found how much a radian measure's worth is in terms of degrees. Folks, if you had any trouble with this handout, no worries. Please click the link to see my office hours. That's a great time to come by and get questions answered. Or you can visit the Math Center. Or I also encourage you to form study groups to get your answers to your questions. That's all I've got for this pre-work video, and I will see you next time.